we are recording. Here we go.
Great, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saber Light Knight's Fight Night 19. Good Lord, there's so many of them. And tonight we have special guest with us. If you'll please go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's Alan Venable from the Saber Martial Arts Foundation.
That's correct.
The president.
Saber Martial Arts Foundation. I am El Presidente, as Mark likes to call me, the president of Saber Martial Arts Foundation, which is committed to the community, camaraderie, and competition safely in the world of martial arts in lightsaber land.
We love the alliteration.
Yeah, it's this isn't part of the thing, but it's part of my dream is to actually have hashtag Saber Valhalla, right? Everybody fights, everybody feasts, and then we do it again the next day. That's so maybe at the end of all this quarantine craziness, we can actually all sit down and have some food after we've fought our hearts out, and then go do it again.
Yeah, my birthday was recently, and that's exactly what we did. That's exactly that's what this fight is. It was specifically, it's like, I'm going to get hit a bunch of times, and then we're going to go out to Plaza Azteca and have some Mexican food. So it was nice.
Question about it. Do you guys do a celebratory birthday bout?
Sometimes we will. We didn't this past time, but that is a thing that we've done in the past. And it's like, sometimes we'll even do it where it's like, sorry, you've got to fight everybody all in a row.
Like they do with me with a circle around them.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, because what we used to do is you have a fight for every year that you've been on the planet. So
that's a whole lot of fighting for this old man. I'm sorry, I can't quite pick up a saber of the first three.
Oh, the first couple of fights are quick, and then they start to slow down. And if you're really into it, you'll use different weapons during each decade.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, now I'm going to do 2 sabers. All right.
I can only do that like for the first fight or two, and then after that, because I'm sorry, 51 years
cardio though.
Yeah, 51 years is a lot of fights.
Yeah. Well, it'll make you want to show up.
I love that, actually.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, steal it, please.
Yeah.
The more times we do it, the more saber fights we have. Yay.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's start looking at some of these. Who do we have up first?
All right. It might have rolled past already. Trying to remember. Let's see. Okay. It's you and I.
Oh, cool. So Ryan is the one with the orange saber, and I'm the one with the blue.
Excellent. Who's judging?
That's AJ.
AJ.
Oop. And Ryan just smashed me.
So are you predominantly a left-handed fighter or a right-handed fighter?
I'm a righty, and I switch.
Okay. That's because I just saw the switch. So.
Yeah. Ryan is a righty as well, but he will switch as well. And when you ever
fight as well with my left as my right.
Yeah. And when you fight Ryan, he is a chameleon. So if he likes a really cool move that you do right in the middle of the match, later on, expect that to come back at you. So awesome. Don't do any cool moves in front of Ryan, because he will copy them.
Always learning, man.
Yep.
That's what you got to do. Always
perpetual white belts. Perpetual white belts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Perfect. That's why why SMAF exists, is because we have a group of incredible martial artists like yourselves. Whether or not you feel like you are incredible, more people want to be you than you think.
Yeah.
Like right now, everybody that's watching this wants to be the people that are fighting right now.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Especially Ryan with that really great thrust that he just did to my chest, and that was awesome.
A lot of quick shots. Looks like a little bit of hand hunting there, rolling for you.
It tends to be the target. Actually, I'm normally shooting for forearm, wrist, if he's giving it to me. And that's the thing with Ryan. He doesn't. He moves very well.
Which is good.
And So it's really hard for me, and I'm mainly going for sort of center mass, occasionally head shots. But but again, if his forearm is there, I'll take that shot too. And
Sure.
as he beats me in this one, it tends to be a lot of mixed shots wherever. Ryan will hit me in forearms or center body mass every once in a while in the headshot too. So, yep.
So in this fight, what are you thinking? Like, what's the you got? Since I assume you guys fight each other all the time, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you tend to, as a fighter, you tend to have the same combinations that you do a lot, and you kind of fall into habits and stuff. What do you think you learned from that fight that you're going to do different next time?
Well, the truth is, with Ryan specifically, as well as actually AJ here, and Robert is a first timer, at least for me to fight. One of the things was I'm always gauging what is Ryan doing, because what he's done in the past to me is different. Actually, this fight, he's always presenting a new opponent to me most of the time. So I tend to have to gauge what I do to him. As well, I try to give him a little bit of a different look as well. I was trying to do a little bit more, with a little bit more force, a little bit more on the attack side, because I tend to be, as Ryan will attest to, sort of a methodic plotter. You know, I'm very sort of
I look at you more
low
as
and
like a
centered.
bull. Like, seriously, he's a bull out of the gate. If you watch the fights, he's very, I don't want to say plotty, but he is methodical. And he doesn't ever really back up. So he's always coming at you. He actually, the first time he unleashed that was in our tournament that you guys did the commentary on poor Chris.
Yeah.
And he about had Chris shit his pants because Chris wasn't expecting that kind of fight out of Roland, and he damn near beat him in the first round. You know, Chris went on to fight B all the way in the finals. So
Those
it's just that Roland's very ferocious. He's very steady, and his foundation is very fundamental and very, very strong.
That's exactly what I see. Now, do you I mean, you have a really good basis in Chi Cho there. Are you practicing with other forms or even sword styles at the moment?
Well, I come from a sort of, I actually do teach stage combat. And one of the things that I do, I come from both sort of amalgam of different martial arts, but also foil fencing, as well as Kali, little Filipino martial arts, double stick, single stick, play with the bullwhip and some other things. So that informs sort of my physicality. And so when looking at Ryan, he's coming at me with either a German longsword style, or he's coming at me with whatever. I'm looking at, okay, he's playing this open game here because I know for a fact, especially if it's a Ryan, he's already got 2 moves into what he's going to do to me. So I have to go, okay, if I'm going to attack, I need to probe that quote unquote weak side that he's already set up for me, not fall into his bait, come around, make sure that I'm able to interrupt the action that he's going to do. And then, so I'm having to play third and fourth intent versus Ryan's, at least before the initial engagement, what is his first and second intent. And so we both have to play that chess game all the time.
And if I know what you're going to do with my bait and all that, then I look twice as fast than I really am.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say for Ryan, like, same question, like when you square off, especially with somebody you fight a lot, right? What is your what's going through your mind? Like what's the do you go in with a plan, or are you just kind of doing what Roland's doing, kind of?
My plan is always to try to be more defensive and reactive, because I'm not a defensive and reactive fighter. I tend to push in there.
Okay.
So I'm constantly trying to learn to be more patient and more reactive to what they're doing, as opposed to forcing my game on them. That said, I normally then get sucked into the match and start doing what I do.
Yeah.
The problem that I'm working on.
The adrenaline of the moment.
Yeah, you get caught into your the way you
Reflexes.
fight, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get that habit, and if you have sometimes it's not a dimmer switch. It's just just a big old lever, right? Fights on or fights off,
Right.
and that kind of mode kind of informs you. But it's kind of cool that you both were like, well, I'm gonna be attacker, I'm gonna be defender. It's kind of neat that you both have that mentality going in, you know. And as you,
I was going to say, and very specific to this fight, because that's actually, again, we're against type. I am, as a general rule, we also have a couple of other people who are counterpunchers. That's sort of our zone. That's kind of what I am. I have to actually, like you say, flip that switch in order to make myself more aggressive, because that's something that I don't tend to be. Ryan is one of the more aggressive fighters, left to his own, but because he has to change up his game because of the way that we fight, because he's good, he's giving everybody different looks, and so therefore he's mixing it in with, okay, now I have to be a defensive fighter because Roland might come up with a different thing than what he normally does. So he's waiting to see what I do,
right,
versus me, I'm going to see if I can test and push, and that's not normally. So again, against type, but I think that causes for more thoughtful overall and the more cerebral fighter, hopefully eventually, as we all learn from each other.
Yeah, it's about growth, right? You shouldn't come out of about not learning something, whether it's about you or about your opponent, right? So that's kind of like, that's a great mentality to be. You know, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? That's kind of how it works.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And this one is,
I was just trying to kind of get in your minds, because you are the guys fighting. Now, both of these guys are not here, so I can't ask them those questions.
This is a fun one though. So Anthony Coffey is very Form 5-ish.
Okay.
He is big, he's tall, and it is a power game. If you go back, I can't remember which fight night it is, but he fought Zamara, which is one of our very strong female fighters, and she's ferocious. And he literally had his way with her, like pushed that blade out of the way. It was constantly beat and riposed. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, to somebody who I've never seen lose a fight like that. I mean, he just came in to beat.
That's not the way she fights. Normally she's fierce, she's fearless. She is. She is always fierce and fearless. And to have somebody sort of just, again, AJ, his long reach is so deadly. And he's got that reach. He's freaking Stretch Armstrong. He will just reach out and touch you. And so, plus, again, like Ryan's saying, he's strong. And so to be able to do something like that to Zamora, able to just disrupt and interrupt, and then go like that, that was really, really kind of an amazing thing. And that's why I really like, because he's grown so much. Robert is new to us, so we love AJ, and I'm fighting AJ. All right, I need to make sure that I have my distance absolutely perfect. I need to make sure that my timing is right, blah, blah, blah. Robert, he's a new element, and so this is really fun to watch this stuff.
Robert is young and fast. He has a lot of experience in Dagomir, where they fight with the foam weapons. And he's about as tall as AJ, but he's not, as strong. He's more of a finesse, very quick fighter. And then in these fights, he's trying to do reverse grip, which is always kind of questionable, but fun. And he makes it work a little bit, which was interesting. But definitely made the night a lot more fun.
So I'll look forward to it.
I think by the end of it, he's like, reverse grip really isn't for for this.
If you've heard any of our SMAF podcasts, our reverse grip discussions are hilarious.
Yep. I listen to them while I'm doing my leather work and my son's taking his naps.
Yeah. See, here we go.
That's great. So these are two guys that are how tall are they?
They're probably about 6
6'2".
feet each.
Yeah.
AJ's a little bit taller, probably like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay. So right now, AJ's on the left.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Robert's on the right, and
Mhm.
Robert's just kind of playing with the poking stick
To see what. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a basically cane techniques at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
He's hoping to make that ice pick grip work.
It was a different way to reverse grip than I'd seen before. It has more potential than the other ways I've seen it used.
Yeah, this is more of like a barjitsu kind of
yes.
cane way to do it, but just as you saw, there's still a lot to be desired. Because like you can like you said ice pick at him, but if you have somebody as big as AJ right there, it's going to be a really short battle.
Yeah.
And you have to get into their defense, which is
what he's having problems with right there. Yeah, see, because again, that reach advantage from where I can just reach out and touch you here, I have to work to get that. And,
well, yeah, you literally cut your range by the size of your forearm. So it's a little rough. It's not impossible, but you're putting yourself at a great disadvantage to test yourself really, and
perfect timing.
test,
kind
of test the
see AJ's
opponents.
Pushing him around, even though Robert's getting some of these hits. Robert's pushing him back and forth, and
well, it's very hard to kind of also gauge distance when you're going up against somebody that's using ice pick grip. You have the distance, right? Especially if you're as tall as AJ is. But the thing is, like, if somehow they are fast enough and they parry or block your one strike, you better have a plan, right? Because that tip is coming in.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, we've switched to orthodox.
Yeah.
Now, what is do we have any other sword background on these fighters?
AJ used to fence in his backyard with Evan.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure exactly classical training, but I do know that he's trained some.
Okay.
And so he's, again,
any training's training.
Yep.
Even bad training's training. Hopefully you don't get too much bad training, because then you learn bad habits. But
right.
At least you're out there swinging your sword.
Yeah. Plus, again, with the classes with Courtney and stuff, help sort of fine tune what he does. But now he's very specifically, he's learning to understand his strengths and use them. Right. Before it was almost as though wasn't sure. And now he's gotten so comfortable with who he is as a fighter, he's beginning to play.
Well, he was very Makashi before, and now he's moved into this. And this plays much more to his strengths because he already has the reach. So he can use a Jumto stance and have the same reach as somebody like me, but also have the strength to literally just push everything out of the way. Which
wonderful.
I wish I could.
That's kind of that's the dream, right? There's a point when you've done enough fights and enough training that you are comfortable with yourself. Who actually won that fight? I don't know who actually won that fight.
Robert won the fight with a shot to the head right at the end there.
The end. Yeah.
I didn't see what the score was at the end. I was just enjoying the exchanges there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really nice one. Christy's also fairly new to us. She comes up from Hampton, and she's just grown so much as a fighter. She's still, again, fairly new to this, but I'm seeing her do things now that she wasn't able to do before. And so I really am happy to see her do any of this stuff. Again, she's fighting me here. And so for me, I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving her something that she can fight against and still feel like she's at least working towards a goal. She knows that, this is I can still beat Roland. I just have to do the right thing. And so that's the thing. And so for me, it was making sure that I am gonna hit you, and I'm gonna hit you here, and I'm gonna hit, and if you're gonna give me an opening, I'm gonna take it. But for her, she's really grown so much, and it's really nice to see.
That's great. Yeah, it's one of our board members in SMAF, Eric, likes to he says when you're fighting a student or somebody that you know is not really, you know, that comfortable yet, you want to fight them just a little bit above their own level.
Yep.
Right. So that they feel challenged, but at the same time, you're not just like destroying them.
Right.
So, yeah, good on you, man. That's great.
I don't know though. I wouldn't say that Christy's any kind of pushover at this point. Her Shicho base is strong, so she's very much. I mean, it's not quite a mirror match, but she's very strong in Shicho, just like Roland is very strong in Shicho.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's really come on in the past couple of months, and she'll surprise you.
Yeah, she'll get you that surprise shot that just I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna fire this one up. But yeah, this is a very good match. There is one thing which I'll let you watch now and see if you catch it that I'm going to talk with her about after watching this video.
Okay, that's her with the light blue, and mine looks a little bit more purple in this light.
I see. All right. Still a little bit gauging her range, it seems like.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys also take turns judging?
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
So I'm actually on the other side of this, like behind the camera, helping
Sure.
AJ judge.
No, I mean it's
Yeah.
it's something to be said about being able to judge as well as fight.
Yeah.
That you have to be able to see and hear.
I judged the last one.
Uh-huh.
Brian, it's AJ judging this one, and so yeah, we try to make sure that everybody gets a chance to say, okay, what do you call? You know, what do you
Right.
see?
Well,
Well,
you're not
it's
just
a
training
skill
and
that
fighting every
every
night, you're
fighter should
training
have.
and judging as well, especially with our upcoming tournament.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's a skill,
mhm.
right?
As well
You
as
gotta refine it.
yep, as well as being able to watch the fight as a judge and see, okay, this is. You can then begin to actually analyze your own fighting too,
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, well, that's why I missed that, and because it's this, and so you can go back and say, yep,
Mhm.
see, she got me right there so well.
Mhm.
I happened to land that headshot, but she was right underneath of me.
Yep.
Oh, there she goes.
It's a very solid base and solid footwork. What I'm seeing from her, though,
You guys, what rule set are you guys using at this point? Are you using
Saber Light Knights.
the Saber Light Knights?
Fingers and hilts count.
Okay, that's always what I should have asked that first, but I was just noticing.
What do you think about how she's striking, Alan?
Well, right now it seems like I like to call it the boop. It's just very much just the tip of her saber. She's not really doing any. I mean, which is good. You know, there's a certain
Power
level.
swinging, right? Yeah.
There's a certain level of skill and control that has to happen there, but there's not a lot of commitment, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was watching when she was swinging, especially when she was two-handed. She's leading with her hand, not the blade. So there's a lag time there where Roland, at least initially, was hitting her in the hands a lot because she was putting those hands forward and then coming down.
Right.
Doing it all together.
Depending on the style that you're fighting with, right, and what you're doing and what your experience is, and what type of sword that you're using, sometimes that works, but a lot of times it doesn't. Right? You do telegraph by moving the hilt first.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely something. But she might be able to turn that into a strength later on, when she starts learning how to do things like wrap, you know, or maybe a lot of her one-handed stuff might be able to pull that off. once she gets comfortable enough to do that, because it's all about deception, right? Like, I want you to think I'm doing this, but I'm going to hit you here instead. That's the art. Part of it is like, oh no, this is like you described it as a chess game, right? It's a human game of chess. I want to, maybe even make you think I'm going to hit your head, but I hit you in the knee instead, or the opposite. Or maybe you think I'm doing, Shicho, but then I switch into Makashi in the middle of the attack.
Yeah.
It's that sort of, that's the beauty of doing lightsaber fighting, right? Because you're not locked in to a specific set or sword style. So, I mean, sword play MMA is what I like to call it.
Exactly.
Nice. And this one is Ryan versus Robert. Again, that reach comes into play here, and his youth and speed.
So Ryan, what Saber forms are you going into? Like,
my
when you
natural go-to form is Makashi.
Okay. Well, when you see the ice pick, like, are you just like, nope, I'm just gonna fence this guy,
Exactly. But then of course he got that first hit on me, so then I got really mad about it. So I just gave it a
So okay, that's actually an interesting question. Like, when you guys are fighting newer members, how important is it for you to get the first point?
Do what?
How important is it for you to get the first point in the bout?
First point I don't care about.
Yeah.
I'm more trying to learn new things, because like, he's new, but he has a lot of fighting experience. So what can I learn from him?
Right.
Of course, I don't want to lose, but I mean, I actually do kind of enjoy it when I do lose fights, because then I figure that I'm learning something.
Absolutely. And then you can watch the fight video.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And in the moment too, there's so much, how his body's moving, what Robert's doing.
Yeah.
He, as much reach as he has, he's not coming over the top.
Right.
He's coming from underneath, which is actually a little bit strange from my headspace.
Sure.
But I really like that he's coming sort of uppercuts and things like that, versus I can reach you from way far back, and I can, and so this is really interesting, because he's a low fighter, as tall as he is, as opposed to taking advantage of that height range and coming from above and fighting down, the way, who was it, fighting Vince, in the tournament, just boshing you on the head. He comes from low and reaches out underneath of your blade, and it's really interesting to see that kind of a play. So even though, quote unquote, Ryan is the shorter opponent, you'll see Robert come underneath of Ryan's blade.
Right. Well, it's again, it's another way that he can be unorthodox with himself, right? A lot can be said about just footwork, right? I'm watching your guys' footwork right here, and there's a lot of movement from Robert's side, but it's not forward and back. It's side to side. It's in triangles or 45-degree angles here and there. And a lot of times that's, especially when you're first starting out, that's very confusing to a fighter, right? To be able to attack from that angle, or be attacked from that angle. But if you can read it, right, you can read the body, you can read the turn of the shoulders, the turn of the hips, the angle of the toe. You kind of have that split second that you can tell the future. He's going to be over here, and it's a matter of making sure you know where your weight is and where your blade is to respond. So that's great.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is
equipment malfunction here.
Yeah, strap. But that's the thing that I really like, because for me, because I tend to be a linear fighter, even though I do have the Filipino martial arts background, and I love my angles, and I love cutting these different angles, and that's what I yell at everybody to do: cut your angle, cut your angle, cut your angle. It's not something that I just preach it. I don't do it.
Sure. But we all, again, get into our habits, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's kind of how it goes sometimes, where like for myself, I tend to fight the way my opponent fights, so that I can see if that part of my fighting can get better.
Yep.
Like when I know somebody is a kendo fighter, I want to fight kendo against them. If I know somebody's a good fencer, I want to fence against them. That's kind of like the thing, but that's mainly because I really just want to test that part of myself. So, very quick, very, very nice
fast
evasion
there. Yeah. That he missed that repose, but still came back and hit that one. That was so nice. And
it was
nice
very
dodge.
good scurry away.
That was horrible, though.
If your arm was like, 2 or 3 inches longer, you would have gotten that. That's good.
See, and he switches to ice pick here.
Yeah, now we're having fun.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when you go into that sort of rear guard, or the fool's guard, as sometimes it's called. You have so much room to not mess up, but to invite. I like to say you invite attacks. But like I said, if you can read the body language, you can read the shoulder movement, you can read the hip movement, you can read the angle of the toe and the intention, then it becomes very easy to tell the future, right? You can tell by the way that somebody grips and from what angle that blade is going to come from, and you can riposte as necessary. Yeah. That's great.
Yep. This is AJ versus myself, and this is, again, I'm just trying to get past AJ's reach, which is.
This is one where he's I don't really remember this fight, but I imagine he's probably going to try to control that blade.
Oh yeah.
So let's see.
I think I got a disarm in this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's
I could
great.
be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah.
So when you guys are doing this, it looks like varying times a day.
We normally start overnight, 7 p.m. and go till 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very decent blade work there. A lot of just horizontal thrusts from AJ, it looks like.
Yeah.
Quick tap to the forearm. All right, there we go. See, you're starting to do your angles there.
Yeah, because again, I have to cut around that blade, so I have to cut it.
You're forced to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
And it's not like I don't know. I do know, and that's my problem. My hang up is like I got to overcome my instinct to. Well, I'm gonna cut you down the middle.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the thing, right? Everything feels right in the moment, and that's kind of how it is. But if you want to become a certain type of fighter, you have to be that fighter in the moment and practice to be that fighter in the moment, right?
Don't you flourish on me.
You guys yelling at each other?
Yeah.
A little bit of what they call it, Dune mock.
Yeah.
You got a little fancy there.
He flourished on me, and so I just straight smashed down. Don't you flourish on me? Did a little moulinet, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna. No, you're not allowed to moulinet on me.
Nice.
That was nice, Roland. Nice shot to the face.
That was a Glasgow smile, is what we like.
Yep. Oh, see, and then he just reaches over and just my wrist, man. I was like, come on.
That's good. Well, what I really appreciate about this is that you guys aren't like really wailing on each other. There's a lot of control, and there's a lot of kind of honor, because I'm seeing some of these shots being called, and you're raising your hand and pointing at him. Nope, that was his point. That was it. Something that the judge, who is on the other side of the screen here, probably may not have seen.
Right. But this is Ryan here, and he's really good about seeing that, even though. But yes, that
right there from AJ.
Yep. I feel that, yeah, that was so good.
I don't know if it counted as a disarm, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he dropped,
He dropped it.
To be fair, it was your body that blocked
Made
his
him disrupt.
blade.
Yeah. Yeah.
His blade hit you, and then he let go.
Right. Yeah. See, this is the thing that I actually like so much about our group. Part of it is, again, it comes from my foil fencing background, where I do only need to hit you with the tip. B, the overarching philosophy of, if this is a lightsaber, I don't need to use physical force in order to move your blade one way or the other. I only just need to just reach you and cut where I need to cut you. So it ends up not being, it does end up being more a little bit about the thrust versus the cuts, even though my cuts will only be, I don't need to use a lot of physical muscle to do it. Right. And so therefore, that's why I think that our group sort of has come up around, we do boop, and we're actually kind of proud of our boops. And right. Every single, I know for most of us, Ryan always calls his own hits. I call mine, my brother calls his, we all do, because first and foremost, what the heck good does it do me as a fighter if I'm cheating and not acknowledging the fact that I got hit there?
Yeah,
I need to be better about not getting hit where I just got hit. Okay, so what do I need to change in order to do that? B, I'm really ecstatic when I see, like, this is the thing is, I'm kind of I do tend to be the cheerleader of the group. When I see Vince or AJ or Christy or any of these people, even Ryan or Robert, getting so much better that they are really just making me have to work.
Yeah,
I get so excited. I'm happy. I'm one of the first ones to laugh and go, yes, that's exactly what, even though you're the one that hit me. I love that, because to me, A, it doesn't make me need to better my game. And that all of you guys are so good. I have to get better in order to be able to compete with, whether it's Ryan or our wonderful friend Adam up at Chubby Dog Company Coffee. You know, any of these guys, whether it's Clay or Chris, I have to get better, because that's the thing is, like, we talk about Chris, who barely, you know, was barely able to beat me, but he did. A long time ago, that was not a thing. I could kind of beat him on the regular basis. He would win every once in a while. He beat me, and then he goes on to nearly win the tournament because he's that stinking good. I am so happy for him, and Ryan does so well that he's grown so much as a fighter. If you go back and watch, like, the one that's in the gym, you know, versus my brother Ryan, you know, that those tournament fights, completely separate people almost from who we are
way
now.
Faster back then.
Yeah. Well, you know, we were all much faster, better looking, you know, slimmer back then.
Yeah, that's all true.
But really and truly, it really does. I get so happy to see these people do so well. And so for me, these light touches, we have a couple people who are power hitters, but you know what? They've kind of backed off because they begin to understand, I don't need to cut you in half in order to get the point. And it's really not kind of cool to leave your guys with bruises, even though we all have gone home with plenty of bruises many a time. That, you know what? We like the fact that we can come together and I just hit you. And that point is the thing. That's the satisfactory, even the better win to me, is that I've now gained a friend who knows that they had to work in order to beat me. I would rather have that win than, well, I just completely totally demolished them. Then what? I don't learn a whole lot if I'm doing that. But if I've had to make, say, Ryan work for his victory, I feel so much better about taking that loss, quote unquote. Because that's what I want. I want a better fighter to fight me so that I have to get better.
Well, and losing is learning.
Exactly. Well, every single time.
You have to take the mentality that a loss is not total.
Yeah.
Right. You either win or you learn.
Yep.
Right. And it's one of those things like, well, yeah, I messed up, but you know what? I'm not going to do that again. Or
Right.
you know what? I need to train more. Sometimes that's what you get.
Win sprints.
Which is great. And that, like I said, the reason I'm here is because of that mentality that you guys bring to your fights and bring to your group. And I just want to, light a fire under everybody else that's even thinking about it. Let's do it. Let's keep that sort of, like I said, camaraderie, but competition,
Mm-hmm.
And build that community to make it so there's more of us and there's more of these.
Absolutely. And see, that's why we're always welcoming. We embrace so many new members, and we love seeing new people who love to nerd out with us. Yes, over lightsabers. Yes, over the Force. Yes, over all the Jedi stuff and Sith sometimes. Okay, whatever. But really and truly, for me, this wonderful, again, camaraderie, brotherhood, this community of people who I can watch them grow. I can watch how they have gotten so much better. That's exciting to me, and that's why we love doing what we do, whether it's Saberlight Nights or SMAF or any of the other groups. I really love watching all of it, and this community is so much fun because it's a bunch of really cool people who just enjoy hitting each other with light sticks. I mean,
it's part of the
it's stress relief.
Yep.
Yeah. So that being said, guys, like, what is the possibility of you guys doing a not really like a Rocky montage, but this is what I looked like when I first started fighting. This is what I look like now, sort of before and after one of these. Are you guys thinking about doing something like that? Because that would be very interesting.
We could do some of that.
We have not yet. Of course, I've got the footage probably to do it. Like, I've got footage from when we started. I've literally probably got days of all of our fights.
Like even a year, right? Or even like when you guys get somebody brand new in your group,
to show them.
To have that and show them and actually have them watch their fights. This is what I look like before, and their head is in their hands and stuff. And then now check you out. You won the tournament or whatnot. That's kind of like a really cool.
Well, Chris did a little TikTok that he did specifically after the tournament. He's sort of taking off the mask and taking off the armor and blah, 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 and talks about how, at the beginning of this, he was, but he's talked about how hard he trained and all the rest of this. But at the end, he fought, and you know what? He fought with his best friend, and at the end of the day, and I was like, there you go. That's freaking, yep, that's it.
Yeah, that encompasses why we keep coming back, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for showing me this. This is really cool.
Thank you for joining
us, Alan. That was amazing.
Yep, really appreciate it. Great questions.
I also really like this artwork. This is really cool.
I've been messing around with the Photoshop thing. I'm not great at it, but I like it.
Yep.
I'm just like, whoa, that's kind of, at first, like I thought it was like Scorpion with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
right now, it's just like a kind of ninja-ish face.
Yeah, the COVID mask mandates and everything else. So yeah.
Right. He is COVID compliant.
Yep. Exactly. Kylo Ren goes COVID. But yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So thank you so much. Yep, absolutely. Go see SMAF. SMAF, is it .org?
SaberMartialArts.life. You can see the Saberlight Nights on there. If you are in their area, there's a bunch of other places that are just like this. Wonderful
all over.
That's trying their best to kind of bring Saber martial arts and this kind of new budding sport, I guess, into the lives of everybody in the world. We're actually looking forward to meeting you.
Absolutely. And we have a tournament coming up in July. So please, everyone, come on out, fight with us, and then eat food with us. And
#Saber.
That's right. And go to SMAF Saber Martial Arts Foundation. Hit up his website because there's all kinds of great information there. Look for him on all the socials, Saber Light Nights on all the socials. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
And if you need a saber, go to either Kai Sabers or Manticore because they make wonderful sabers that are made for combat. These are the ones that hold up. They're the ones that last.
Cool.
And they're very, very good, and they're not horribly expensive.
Yeah. And Kyle from Key Sabers.
Yes.
3-sectional saber. That's all.
I know. It's so exciting. So good. Good night, everybody.
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you.